Why? Because then you got Kwanzaa pulling out her titties. The whore pulled out her titties. And these whore bags over here started feeling and fondling on her tits. What?
I don't have it to do with you. Girl, you can go over there, rant and rave. Girl, you can shake all your rainbow bright hair all you want, dear one. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this with you, dear one. I'm not doing this with you, dear one. I don't have nothing to do with you, and I'm done. Baby, you can scream my name from the rooftops from now till Jesus come back. I'm done after this.
Introduced to Tick's Meat. Do you see what I see? Did y'all really let, hello, casting, wardrobe, y'all let him roll up out of wardrobe with these fans on, giving us all of this, thinking we were not going to see it? We have been waiting with bated breath and anticipating all season long for the slightest glimpse, and y'all just put it out there this episode in all of its magnificent glory.
Listen, that young man said, baby, you ate on this first date, you giving up the cooch on the first date, okay? Well, you gonna run me my coins. Run me my cooch or run me my coins. Run me my cooch or run me my coins. Run me my cooch or run me my coins. That's our new theme song. That is the new song. Listen, somebody need to put a beat to that. Run me my cooch or run me my coins. Run me my cooch or run me my coins. That's what y'all got going on.
Called out Sandcastle. Sand, bitch. Ow. Oh my God, it was so funny, girl. Woo, baby, listen, let me tell you something. This shit started to turn into the precursor for some gay porn. That's what I thought it was. Because Big T is getting all, you know, the voice starting to go deeper and get a little more wet and moist and sentimental and all this shit. And it was real gay at this point. Like, I thought the bitches was going to start. I thought Lil Bird was going to turn Big T around and do him like he did Uncle Cliff and do the grease it up with City Lou and ran right in there. It's not a coincidence that Big T started off the conversation by trying to find out if Lil Bird was fucking Mercedes, which he found out he's not. It's also not a coincidence that he would start talking about prison. Why? Because the bitches was probably fucking in prison. Uncle Clifford, you better go get your man. Big T got plans for that. Well, he had it on look like something Big Bird vomited up or something like that. Like, I did not like it. That Big Bird couture he was going for, it did not work. Like the pastor of a gay mega church on Easter Sunday. Okay, it was way too much sequins. He had on way too much makeup. Baby, his face looked like Yana Van Zant's neckline. Okay, just way too much makeup clumped in everywhere on his face. Get it together, sweetheart. Like, you know, you're a big girl, so that gives you a whole lot of canvas. So that was a whole lot of makeup, honey. Yeah. Rico looked like he was auditioning to be one of the Three Kings, or he was auditioning to be the main character on Jesus Christ Superstar. Girl, Wayne, did you have on a blue thong or a blue G-string or something? If you did, I want to see. Can I see? Get me up in my DMs. I do want to see if you have a blue thong or a blue, jock strap or something like that. I'd love to see it too. Anyway, but I liked it with the turtleneck. Now, Troy.
Hey, get my little sweater. You know, we had a little sweater weather today. It wasn't as hot today. It was a little change in the air. It was like the old people say, it was a little nip in the air. Was. And so we put on a little sweater. It might be time for me to break out all my sweaters as I'm eating my popsicles. What's going on, y'all? Welcome to Run Your Mouth. I am L Teddy 27. And this is Run Your Mouth. And we are here to give you all of the stories and headlines that happened in politics and a little bit of pop culture while you were at work. How's everybody doing today? Is everybody okay? Oh, that's good. And I have another one. And another one. And another one. I hope everybody's having a great what is it today? Tuesday. Listen, I'm not going to even hold you. The dossier again is packed. We have a packed dossier. Do you hear me? Like, y'all can't give me like one light day. Can we get a light day where I don't have to come up here and talk about how packed the dossier is? Is that okay? Lord. Anyway, let me say hey to y'all. And then we'll go from there. Hey, Brown Mama. I promised you, Brown Mama, that I will go into detail about the government shutdown today. I am. I got some details about what it means for us and our people, and we'll discuss that in a few moments. I got a couple stories ahead of that, but certainly the government shutdown is one of our top stories of the day. Hey, Lock Queen. Hey, Demetria. What's going on, beautiful? Drinks with D. What is good? What's happening? The Inform. What's going on, sir? How is Virginia treating you? The Inform. I'm coming to Virginia this weekend. I'll be in Virginia Beach this weekend. The Informed. I'm just letting you know. I'll be in Virginia Beach. Just in case anybody in the general area, I'll be in Virginia Beach this weekend. Just putting it out there. Hey, Tamara. Hey, Katrina. Tarshell, how are you? And yes, let the record show. Tarshell is on time. Hey, Janae, my love. Quake, what is going on? Lady T. Miss Kiki. Montrez, what's good, bro? What's up, Jeannie? Hey, friend. Yeah, it is sweater weather. Ravine, what's going on? You sleepy? Why are you sleepy? Hey, Miss Shorty B. Hey, Lady D. What dance? I have a dance. Do I have a dance? I don't think I have a dance. Hey, crazy homebody girl. Oh, that's why there's so many news stories. Okay. Can't stop, won't stop. I didn't get that information. Send me that information when you can, Demetri. I did not. That did not make the dossier. I did not see that anywhere. Thank you for telling us. Hey, Shay. Now look at who we have here. Hey, Paul. I figured you would be here to talk about the two card carrying life members of the basket of deplorables. You give me that you like the Cardi B's and Nicki Minaj's of the world. Just trash. We'll get to that trash later. But hey, Paul, we love you, Paul. Hey, Sam A. Oh, you're in Maryland. I don't know why I thought you was in Virginia. The Inform. It's your first day back after your birthday vacation. Hey, friend. Wait a minute. Ravine, you had a birthday. I have a birthday greeting for you.
Happy birthday, sweet pea. Happy birthday, sweet pea. Happy birthday to you. May our good Lord bless you. May our good Lord bless you. May the good Lord bless you. Happy birthday, sweet pea. Don't worry about nothing. It get better, trust me. Happy birthday, sweet pea. I love you, sweet pea.
Happy birthday, sweet pea. I'm just saying. Hey, Donna. Hey, Yana, what's going on? Yana say I'm a whole hall monitor. I slide in when I need to and when I want to. I see you, Yana. Let them know. Let them see your big blue sash. Yana says she got brownies and 2 buckets of margaritas. That's all she could carry. That's what Yana said. Y'all could go see her. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying. Your birthday was on Friday. I was out of town again. Where was I at this past weekend? Oh, I was in Macon. Terrence, what's going on, bro? What's going on? Anyway, do we have to take a birthday shot for Ravine? Ravine ain't said we had to take no birthday shot, so we ain't got to take no birthday shot. I'm just saying. Anyway, are y'all ready to get this party started? We got a lot to discuss. If you're ready to get this party started, go ahead and put a Shondo in the chat. Look at Shay. Shay just be want me to get drunk. God, can I keep my sobriety? Hey, Terry. What's going on? I know Chef still live. We'll be here when y'all ready to come on over. Ain't no rush. We'll be here. All right, y'all. We're ready to get this party started. If y'all ready, I'm ready. If y'all ready, I'm ready. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, non-binary, gender-conforming members of our audience, I bring to you the late, great Larry Myers to help us usher in our Sugar Spike segment.
Oh, God. You see, this is the part that I like.
Major sugar spike.
So love the world. I want to fight. That he gave. His only begotten son.
Major sugar spike.
And shall ever believe.
Major sugar spike.
They shall not perish, but have everlasting life.
Taste the biscuit.
Jesus! I wish somebody help me.
Jesus. Thank you, Larry. So we start off the Sugar Spike segment. So this is what I get for opening my mouth. I had a whole meltdown yesterday, right? Had a whole meltdown about how, hey, Mama Bees, about how no Republican governor had asked your president to send the military. And they must have heard me. They watched my program. They watched Run Your Mouth. And they decided that they were going to ask. Look who came up in the building. Traversing this way. All the way from Hey, Chef. Coming to us all, Chef, coming to us all the way from Hey, what's going on? Hey, sweet Jane, what's going on? Terry say we is here. Jason, what's good, bro? Felicia, what's going on? Hey, Candace F. Hey, everybody coming in. Go ahead and hit the like button. Do us a favor. Go ahead and hit the like button. Let the people know that we over here clowning like we always do. Yeah, go ahead and hit that good like button. Please and thank you. So, like I was saying, yesterday I had a whole fucking meltdown about how Governor Lee over in Tennessee and no other Republican governor had yet to ask for military personnel to be on the streets in their respective cities. They must watch my programming, saw me ranting and raving about it, and said, well, we'll oblige you, El Teddy. Chef took y'all to an evening service. You're new here, already loving it. Me and my car riders is here. Well, hello, Ramona. You and your car riders. Y'all say hey to Ramona. Give her a good shondo in the chat. We love new people around here. Hey, lovely 31 Blueprint. Child, we love new people around here. We have a good time. We just have a small, good community over here where we have us a good old time. Just sit back, relax, enjoy yourself. So, y'all, we start off with, because there are multiple governors doing this now. It ain't just one, it's multiple. We start off with Louisiana, because we know we have a lot of black people down in Louisiana. And you know if they're going to, and they're starting in New Orleans, but you know they'll trickle their way up to places like Baton Rouge and Shreveport and other majority black cities. Here's the story, y'all. Louisiana's Republican governor asked for for National Guard deployments to New Orleans and other cities, saying yesterday that his state needs help fighting crime, and praising Donald Trump's decision to send troops to Washington, D.C. and Memphis. Governor Jeff Landry, who you see pictured there, a Trump ally, asked for up to 1,000 troops through fiscal year 2026 in a letter sent to Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. It comes weeks after Trump suggested New Orleans could be one of his next targets for deploying the National Guard to fight crime. Landry said his request, quote, builds on the proven success of deployments to Washington and Memphis, end of quote. While Trump has ordered troops into Memphis with the backing of Tennessee's Republican governor, as of last night, there had yet to be a large-scale operation in Memphis. Now, I just want to remind these people, you know, Governor Quasimodo, she'll be next. She ain't put it out there yet, but Governor Quasimodo, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, she'll be asking for it next. Hey, Uncle Jay, what's going on, boo? Child, I know Trade had you hemmed up too, Uncle Jay, like Trade always had Paul hemmed up. Anyway, listen, y'all. I hope these people realize that the Constitution of these yet to be United States of America does say that active duty military cannot and should not ever be used on American soil against American citizens. And we now have Republican governors and your Republican president utilizing and normalizing active military personnel being used on American soil. I'm just telling you what I know. Hey, Kara D. Yeah, you know Governor Hot Wheels gonna want some parts. I'm surprised Governor Death Sentence ain't asked for none either. A mess. Just a damn mess. Just a damn mess. So I wanted y'all to know. Oh, but it doesn't stop there. Hey, Tracy W., what's going on? You have in Missouri now, Governor Kehoe, that hoe, Governor Kehoe, Governor Hedaho, I'm sorry, Missouri Governor Kehoe, today authorized the state's National Guard to perform tasks on behalf of ICE. Again, authorized the state National Guard to perform the tasks and duties on behalf of ICE. Um, According to a news release from Governor Kehoe's office, soldiers will assist with, quote, administrative, clerical, and logistical duties, end of quote, following a request from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security to the Department of Defense. He went on to say in the statement, quote, public safety, keeping Missourians safe and upholding the rule of law is our administration's top priority. The Missouri National Guard is uniquely equipped to provide the essential administrative support, and we are confident their contributions will be invaluable to immigration enforcement efforts. Missouri is proud to join the Trump administration's efforts to keep our state and nation secure, end of quote. Here we are. Here the fuck we are, ladies and goddamn gentlemen. So let me make sure I understand. Right. Hey, the Dare Show podcast. Let me make sure I understand right. Hey, Tawana. Y'all have no institutional control. Y'all do not have resources. Y'all don't have programs and activations and things worthwhile enough to counter, to thwart crime in your respective place, in your respective states, or you're conjuring up and concocting reasons for there to be military presence in the streets of your states, which means and signals that you, as the leader and head of that state, have no institutional control, cannot control your state. Inmates running the asylum, so much so, you have to call upon the federal government and ask for military personnel. I'm just, and I know that that you have your National Guard at your disposal within your respective states, right? But rather than put things in place to assist those municipalities who you believe may be having issues with crime or whatnot, if it's just that buck wild, right? Why hasn't it been that way for several years now? Wasn't it the same way last year when Joseph Robinette was president? So what you're saying to me is, under a Republican president and a Republican regime on all levels of government, that is the time when crime became so out of control in your respective states that you had to enact military personnel all throughout your state. That was the time when you said, oh, crime is so horrible in the state that I have been elected to lead. Under a Republican governor, a Republican president, a Republican Congress, a Republican Supreme Court, all levers of government, a Republican governor, a Republican state legislature, when you have all Republican control, that's when crime gets so out of control that we need military personnel on the streets. I just want to make sure I understand this right. Hey, Aquarius Goddess. Hey, NK Universe. I'm just saying. Am I getting this wrong, y'all? Because I didn't hear any of this, this exploding crime rate and crime. We're just overrun with crime in my state, in the respective cities in my state, and it's just so bad. Magically, there was none of that last year, if I'm to believe what you're telling me. These are governors who have been in control of these states for some years now. And so, if there's a problem, you, sir, have been at the helm of said state while there was a problem. Hey, Miss E. Hey, Complex 613. I'm just trying to understand. Well, Mama Bees, we've been saying for a long time, we're very skeptical. We do not believe that there's going to be a midterm election. And if there is a midterm, I damn sure don't believe we're having a 2028 stranger elections. But stranger things happen. I just want to make sure I'm seeing this right. And while we're here, since we're talking about use of federal military troops and things like that, let's go on down to Memphis. I told y'all we'll have updates on this stuff. Attorney General Skank Bondi, Pam Bondi, announced today that 9 arrests were made in Memphis as Donald John's administration has their federal crackdown on Memphis, Tennessee. She went on X, formerly Twitter, and posted, quote, "Our operation in Memphis is now underway, and we're just getting started. Yesterday, 9 arrests were made, and 2 illegal firearms were taken off the streets. Additionally, 219 officers were special deputized, and our Joint Operations Center is up and running." Memphis, end of quote. Excuse me. Now, Governor Bill Lee, he decided to jump into the chat, and he said, quote, "Memphis is a world-class city with an historic opportunity to address its crime challenge. As the Memphis Safe Task Force continues its work, I'm grateful to the president for providing every federal resource needed so that all Tennesseans can live in a safe neighborhood." End of quote. Here we are. Can I tell you the considerable amount of money and resources all of this entails? All of the government taxpayer dollars. We're talking tens of millions of dollars that have to be utilized. Hey, Sharice. Hey, Antonia. That have to be utilized to make this happen. They are sending troops out there for a non-existent problem, because in all of these places, crime is down. All of them. But again, they are normalizing military presence in the streets of American cities in direct and willful violation of the Constitution of these yet to be United States of America. Here we are. Here the fuck we are. In more spiky news. Well, Pete Hegseth went on a whole ass tirade earlier today, along with y'all's president. Let me give y'all the rundown of what that sounded like. He had a meeting with all of the military generals of all branches of the military, who you see there in the picture. He announced a series of changes to the armed forces that he claimed will raise the standards of America's combat troops and unburden commanders from fear of violating internal military rules. The new policies announced at this meeting in Quantico, Virginia, are an extension of Pete Hegseth's campaign to reverse moves over the past 2 decades meant to make the military more inclusive of women and minority recruits. He cast the moves as necessary to increase the lethality of U.S. troops. Here are some of the statements that he made. Quote, a few months ago, I was at the White House when President Trump announced his Liberation Day for America's trade policy. It was a landmark day. Well, today is another Liberation Day, the liberation of America's warriors. You kill people and break things for a living. You are not politically correct, don't necessarily belong always in polite societies. You are different. We fight not because we hate what's in front of us. We fight because we love what's behind us. End of quote. The man is a fucking raging lunatic. He went on to talk about how physical fitness would be prioritized across the armed forces, even if that means fewer women in combat roles, and announced the military's internal complaint and investigations process will be overhauled to eliminate frivolous complaints. He said, quote, if the words I'm speaking today are making your heart sink, then you should do the honorable thing and resign. End of quote. He said, quote, it all starts with physical fitness and appearance. If the Secretary of War can do regular hard PT, so can every member of our joint force. Frankly, it's tiring to look out at combat formations or really any formation and see fat troops. Likewise, it's completely unacceptable to see fat generals and admirals in the halls of the Pentagon and leading commands around the country and in the world. It's a bad look. It is bad, and it's not who we are. End of quote. He then went on to say that, quote, all combat troops will be held to the highest male standard, end of quote. And that's when he was referring to field tests strictly enforced across, that will be strictly enforced across all of the military services. The man is completely unhinged, okay? The man is a whole fucking mess. Let's continue. He went on a whole tirade about facial hair. He said, quote, because remember, he said the highest male standards. He wants no parts of females in the military at all. He said, quote, no beards, long hair, superficial individual expression. We're going to cut our hair, shape up, shave our beards, and adhere to standards, because it's like the broken window theory of policing. It's like you let the small stuff go, the big stuff eventually goes. If you want a beard, you can join special forces. If not, then shave. End of quote. He then went off on his tirade about women in combat. He kept saying that they needed to apply the, quote, 1990 test, end of quote. He said, quote, the 1990s test is simple. What were the military standards in 1990? And if they changed, tell me why. Was it necessary? Was it a necessary change based on the evolving landscape of combat? Or was the change due to a softening, weakening, or gender based pursuit of other priorities? End of quote. People are saying that he's directly targeting women in combat, which was first allowed in the Obama administration. He continued to reiterate that they will be governed by the, quote, highest male standards, end of quote. He did say that that would result in no women in some roles. The man is unhinged. Mhm. Oh, he wasn't done. He said, quote, "We very much value the impact of female troops. Our female officers and NCOs are the absolute best in the world. But when it comes to any job that requires physical power to perform in combat, those physical standards must be high and gender neutral. If women can make it, excellent. If not, it is what it is. If that means no women qualify for some combat jobs, so be it. That is not the intent, but it could be the result." End of quote. Here's the part that they're not going to focus on that's probably the most important part of what he said today. He said, or he announced, that the Pentagon would overhaul its process for filing complaints with the building's independent watchdog, the Inspector General. He declared that the department's inspector general process, quote, has been weaponized, end of quote, claiming it has put complainers and poor performance in the driver's seat. He said the Pentagon would change the process for its complaints filed under the Equal Opportunity Program, responsible for issues related to sexual harassment and discrimination based on race, gender, or religion. Uh, he called it, he said he wants to, quote, "end the poisonous culture of risk aversion," end of quote. These people are unhinged. And many of our children, spouses, loved ones are now falling victim to these nut jobs, to these yahoos, to these insane people. Oh, he wasn't done talking about, because the inspector general, like I said, these are the ones who people can confidentially go to and speak to sexual harassment, racial discrimination, bigotry, and all of that stuff. He wants no parts of that anymore. He said, quote, "I call it the no more walking on eggshells policy. We are liberating you. No more frivolous complaints. No more anonymous complaints. No more repeat complaints. No more ruined reputations. No more endless waiting. No more legal limbo. No more sidetracking careers or walking on eggshells." End of quote. Here we are. He also announced that the Pentagon is starting, quote, "a full review of how words including bullying, hazing, and toxic leadership are used as part of accountability efforts," end of quote, claiming that the terms have been weaponized to undercut military leadership. He said, quote, achieving, and maintaining high standards is what you all do. And if that makes me toxic, then so be it," end of quote. He also said that there would be a lot more high profile firings in leadership. He said, quote, my job has been to determine which leaders simply did what they must to answer the prerogatives of civilian leadership, and which leaders are truly invested in the woke department and therefore incapable of embracing the War Department and executive new lawful orders. End of quote. He also wants to go back to the old days of basic training and boot camps and things like that. He said he is moving to change how basic training is conducted, empowering drill sergeants to instill healthy, in quotation marks, fear in new recruits. Quote, "to that point, basic training is being restored to what it should be: scary, tough, and disciplined. We're empowering drill sergeants to instill healthy fear in new recruits, ensuring that future warfighters are forged. Yes, they can shark attack, they can toss bunks, they can swear, and yes, they can put their hands on recruits. This does not mean they can be reckless or violent, violate the law, but they can use tried and true methods to motivate new recruits to make them the warriors they need to be. End of quote. I'm just telling you. I mean, the man wants to go back to Full Metal Jacket. He does. And we all remember what happened in Full Metal Jacket, where you had recruits that were blowing their brains out. It was Aquarius Goddess. It was just fucking ridiculous. Miss Kiki says she glad she retired from the military because she's not here with that fuck shit. Say, Chimera, you know they're not. I mean, Jason, I don't know why he doesn't understand that, Jason. And the thing about it is this. You really think this is going to help in military recruitment, sir? Really? It's just ridiculous. Well, your president, Donald John, he wanted parts of this big circle jerk that they had going on in Quantico. And he suggested that the military should use American cities as, quote, training grounds, end of quote. He described the federal crackdowns that we're having in major cities in this country as, quote, necessary due to a war from within, end of quote. He wants to use American cities, meaning American citizens, for military training. We're talking civilians. That is what y'all's commander-in-chief said in a meeting with all military leadership. He said, quote, America is under invasion from within. We're under invasion from within. No different than a foreign enemy, but more difficult than in many ways because they don't wear uniforms. End of quote. If I'm not mistaken, y'all correct my ears if I'm wrong. Is that not a direct declaration of war against actual U.S. citizens, which thereby means when he sends the National Guard and military personnel into these cities, he's doing it as if it's an act of war. And that would be war on actual American citizens. American citizens whose tax dollars, I should say, pay for said military to operate. So you have actual American citizens paying to have the military come in and assault them, in some cases kill them, and have military force enacted on actual citizens. So you're paying for your own demise. I just want to make sure I understand this correctly. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, yet again, the Constitution of these yet to be United States of America completely outlaws the use of military force on American soil against American citizens. He did say there are two N words, nuclear and the hard ER. Because he said, we can't say nuclear, just like we can't say the other N word. And so now he says there are two N words. I don't have this type of energy for this man. I don't have the energy. Like, these people are escaped from fucking reality. But guess what's going to happen? Nobody's going to pay attention. You know what people are paying attention to today? the fact that vomit is arguing with diarrhea and discussing who's worse. Cardi B and Nicki Minaj are arguing back and forth on Twitter, and that is the most important thing. Vomit arguing with diarrhea about who's worse. Just depends on which end of your body it comes out of. But we'll get to vomit and diarrhea later. In more sugar spiky news, now we have this shutdown coming up. Because at this point, there's all expectation of a shutdown. There's no way to I don't see any runway to escape what's about to happen, and the fact that there is a government shutdown looming over us. So let's look at some of what US agencies are planning when we have this government shutdown, because when we have government shutdowns like the one that we have, there could be a range of effects on public services and the broader US economy. Now, according to experts, employee furloughs and potential layoffs would halt some government activities. Other functions like NASA's space missions, President Trump's immigration crackdown, and certain public health work at the FDA and the USDA would continue. In the Department of Homeland Security, immigration enforcement would proceed mostly as is. The most Department of Homeland Security employees would continue to work, reflecting the fact that so much of the department's workforce is connected to law enforcement or works in areas funded by user fees as opposed to congressional appropriations. The Department of Homeland Security said in a plan published on its website that about 14,000 of the agency's 271,000 employees would be furloughed in the event of a government shutdown. That would include maintaining the vast majority of officers and employees at Customs and Border Patrol, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, and the Transportation and Security Administration, TSA, Citizenship and Immigration Services, and the Federal Emergency Management Association Agency, FEMA, among other divisions. Department activities such as providing Secret Service protections for the president, processing cargo and passengers coming into the country, and carrying out the Trump administration's immigration enforcement operations would continue. Medicare and Medicaid payments would continue, although there will likely be delays. Medicare and Medicaid programs and services will also continue uninterrupted, though staffing shortages could mean delays for some services like the mailing of Medicare cards. The government has enough money to fund Medicaid for the first quarter of the next fiscal year, according to the Department of Health and Human Services. Also, eligible states will continue receiving payments from the Children's Health Insurance Program, or CHIP. FEMA could block some new mortgages. While FEMA's core disaster relief functions will not be affected, at least in the short term, other aspects of the agency's work will be impacted. Some grant approvals would be paused, and no new policies would be written under the National Flood Insurance Program, halting new mortgages that require flood insurance. Still, an extended shutdown could, in a worst-case scenario, exhaust FEMA's existing disaster relief fund, which stands at about $10 billion. House Speaker Mike Johnson warned yesterday at the White House that FEMA, quote, won't be funded during the shutdown, end of quote. Air traffic controllers already certified and on the job would be among the essential workers who could continue during any shutdown, but their pay could be affected. National Air Traffic Controllers Association President Nick Daniels has said that having to work without a paycheck adds stress to controllers who already do a difficult job. He said that in the past, shutdowns. Some controllers have even had to get side jobs to help pay bills while the shutdown drug on. That's right. Air traffic controllers won't be getting paid, but will be expected to go to work. Captain Jason Ambrosi, president of the Airline Pilots Association, urged Congress to reach an agreement. Quote, a shutdown threatens the stability of the safest aviation system in the world, end of quote. However, the school that aspiring air traffic controllers attend in Oklahoma City would shut down and students would be sent home, hurting the administration's efforts to address critical shortages in the profession. The disruption in training would likely prompt some to pursue a different career, making it that much harder to eliminate the shortage of 3,000 air traffic controllers nationwide. Also, a shutdown would set back the multi-billion-dollar effort to overhaul and modernize air traffic control equipment. The CDC, that's the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, said more than half of the agency's workers will be furloughed. More than half of the CDC's workers would be furloughed. Those still working include people who deal with infectious disease outbreaks and care for research animals and maintain laboratories. Federal officials said CDC would continue to monitor disease outbreaks. Activities that will stop include research into health risks and ways to prevent illness, communications with the public, and work to help state and local officials prevent overdose deaths or other health problems, according to a federal planning document. The National Institute of Health will be affected. Research and patient care at the National Institutes of Health would be stopped, ended. Patients currently enrolled in studies at the research only hospital, nicknamed the House of Hope, will continue to receive care during a government shutdown. Additional sick patients hoping for access to experimental therapies can't enroll except in special circumstances, and no new studies will begin. Scientists face the prospect of costly laboratory research going to waste because most of the sprawling campus of the nation's premier medical research agency will empty out. About 3/4 of the NIH's employees will be furloughed. That's 75% of the NIH's employees will be furloughed. Those still working include hospital staff and those needed for security or animal care. There's a ripple effect because NIH funds basic research and clinical trials at universities and other institutions across the country. And while existing grants aren't affected, the agency can't approve any pending applications. More things to come. Now, the FDA, that's the Food and Drug Administration, they said that their core responsibilities would continue, including responding to public health threats and managing product recalls and drug shortages. Some routine activities, though, including previously scheduled inspections of company manufacturing plants, will be halted. But the agency will continue to conduct inspections when it has reason to suspect a problem that could endanger consumers. About 86% of the agency's staff would remain on the job at the FDA because their work is deemed essential or they are funded by non-federal sources, according to the administration's shutdown plan. The State Department plans stateside furloughs while keeping foreign services open. According to a 71-page plan posted to its website yesterday, the State Department said only 10,344 of 26,995 domestically employed staffers whose work has been deemed essential will be exempted from the furloughs. So that means more than half of the domestically employed State Department workers will be furloughed. Employees deemed exempt from shutdown plan are those whose jobs are necessary to respond to emergencies and national security. There will be The EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, says a contingency plan for a possible government shutdown would leave more than 10% of its staff in place to handle significant activities that are required by law or necessary to protect life and property. But that's only 10%. The other 90% gets furloughed. Mhm. So, when the agency began, the EPA had 15,000 employees. They're saying if a government shutdown happens, they're going to dwindle that number down to 1,700. Those are my updates of the government shutdown. If you needed to know who's affected. Uh-huh. Basically, if it's paid for through congressional appropriation, they're gonna it will be affected. There will be no money. I continue to tell you, the largest employer of black people in this country is the federal government. When there's a shutdown of the federal government, we get affected. Our people get affected. Our people are without jobs. And as we know in this country, one or two paychecks is enough to make anyone homeless. Most people cannot go more than two paychecks, two pay periods without their paycheck, or there's going to be significant changes to their lives and livelihoods. Candace F says she was told they won't even be informed when the government shutdown is over. They just have to watch the news. I mean, you can come over here. I will make sure that I let you all know. Uh, uh, um, as much let you all have all of the information that I have. But this is serious, and we have a Congress that is they're going to continue to get paid, right? But actual people who have families, lives, loved ones, they don't seem to give a damn. They don't. Yep. Hmm. Now, the government shutdowns usually don't last long. The longest government shutdown, as I was looking at the records, happened under the first Trump administration in 2018. I think that was 35 days. And the records that I saw went all the way back to the Reagan administration. So we're talking about 45 years of information that we have about actual government shutdowns. The longest one was 35 days. That was during the pre 45's administration. Auntie Kim, these people are ill informed, and a lot of the those people reporting on things on the right like to give misinformation and like to paint it as you all as government employees getting handouts when they get back pay, neglecting the fact that these people are not getting paid. Their people have to pay bills. The light company is not going to be like, oh, there's a government shutdown, don't worry about paying us right now, we're good. If you have a mortgage, that bank is not going to say, you know what, don't worry about it, just let us know when you got it. When the shutdown is over, just send it to us then. Water bills. You got kids in school that still got to go to school every day, that still have to eat. Grocery prices going up. We got all kinds of fuck shit going on. And you people are talking about this shutdown as if it's just another day of work, as if, oh, it's just business as usual. Oh, it'll be all right. They'll get over it. It'll be okay. Did I not just tell you air traffic controllers will be expected to go to work and do their job for free? Air traffic controllers, the people controlling the traffic in the air and assuring that planes don't crash, will be asked to go to work for free. And they already have a highly stressful job. Property taxes, all kinds of stuff. Listen, it's inconsequential to them. These are people's lives. Now people have to make, try to move heaven and earth, try to figure. You already had federal employees that were losing their jobs or in fear of losing their job for the last 6 months or so, been in direct fear of losing their job. Now, even the ones who kept their job won't get paid. So now you got to try to rob Peter to pay Paul, start asking people for a help, because the government clearly ain't giving you no assistance, ain't giving you no help, and bills have to be paid. This thing is serious. I don't want people to think that this thing is not. This is very, very serious. I hope, our hope and belief is that like previous shutdowns, this won't be a long-standing government shutdown, because the longer a government shutdown lasts, the longer or the more costly the effects. Listen, that's what I say. If we're going to have a government shutdown, all Congress not going to get paid. All of the executive branch won't get paid. The president on down. If there's a government shutdown, ain't shit getting paid. No military getting paid, no executive branch, no judicial branch, no legislative. All three branches of government halt on their paychecks. Let's see how that works. I mean, this is a mess. I forgot to mention TSA. They will be asked to work for free. And if you look at a lot of TSA personnel, when you go to the airports nowadays, it's a lot more younger people. I'm seeing a lot more Gen Zers down to the TSA working. Them kids not gonna be up for talking about some work without pay, which means longer lines down to the airport. So we certainly will monitor the situation and keep you all informed of everything that goes on with this government shutdown. Well, that would be Skank Bondi right there. Y'all's girl, Skank Bondi. Who gets on my damn nerves? Y'all know how much I can't stand Skank Bondi. Well, why is she in the news? So, and please, those people, as you come in, we have 92 people in the chat. Thank y'all for being here. Go ahead and hit the like button, please. And thank you, sir, ma'am. And or go ahead and subscribe. It don't cost you nothing to subscribe. It don't cost you nothing to hit the like button. And say, hey, y'all can pop out the bushes and say hello to the people. Hey, people. Hey. Y'all can pop out of the clouds and not the bushes and say hello to us. We're a whole happy community here. This is coming out of Minneapolis area. The U.S. Department of Justice is suing Minnesota, its two largest cities, and a county over so-called sanctuary policies that the agency says interfere with the federal government's authority to enforce immigration policies. The lawsuit alleges the policies result in the release of dangerous criminals who would otherwise be subject to deportation, and it asks a federal court to invalidate state and local laws and policies that it says impedes immigration enforcement. The suit filed Monday targets the state as well as Minneapolis, Minnesota, St. Paul, Minnesota, and Hennepin County, which includes Minneapolis. Skank Bondi said in a statement, quote, Minnesota officials are jeopardizing the safety of our own citizens by allowing illegal aliens to circumvent the legal process. End of quote. Minnesota is one of the latest jurisdictions targeted over their immigration enforcement policies by the Trump administration, which has sued the state of Colorado, the state of Illinois, the state of New York, and the state of New Jersey, as well as several cities, including Boston, Chicago, Denver, Los Angeles, New York City, and Rochester, New York. On a separate front, federal authorities said today they found widespread immigration fraud in a first of its kind surge operation they conducted in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area this month. And they said they're planning to expand their strategy to many other cities, but declined to name them. In more sugar spiky news, put a 27 in the chat if you would for me, please. If you are in what I like to call the sandwich generation. What does a sandwich generation person mean? That means you have children under your care and parents under your care, and you are in the middle of that sandwich. Put a 27 in the chat if you are in the sandwich generation. Again, that means you have children in your care and you have parents in your care. A lot of Gen X is in that sandwich. A lot of Gen X and a lot of older first third of the millennials generation, meaning millennials born like 81 to about 85. I see Golden. So if that's you, you may want to pay attention to this next story. So the US government starts phasing out paper checks for most programs today. The change, which was initiated through an executive order signed by President Trump in March, will affect recipients of benefits including Social Security, supplemental security income, and tax refunds. So that's Social Security checks, SSI checks, and tax refunds. No more paper checks. The Trump administration argues the shift of all payments and collections to electronic methods is designated to protect taxpayers from fraud and stolen checks, speed up processing, and cut costs. But advocates fear that the shift will hurt marginalized Americans who lack access to digital services and may not even know this phase out is coming. Jennifer Burdick, a division supervising attorney in the SSI unit at Community Legal Services in Philadelphia, said, quote, a lot of claimants move around and don't always get their mail. And the folks that I represent who get paper checks mostly learned from me about this transition, end of quote. Roughly 10% of her clients receive paper checks. She's worried that new recipients who need paper checks to open a checking account at a bank will find it difficult or even nearly impossible to get that done over the phase out. Nearly 400,000 Social Security and SSI recipients will receive their benefit through paper checks. Receive their benefits through paper checks. That's 400,000 people. That amounts to less than 1% of the 70.6 million retirees, disabled people, and children who receive SSI benefits. Instead of paper checks, they will receive direct deposit or a Direct Express card, which is intended for people without a bank account. However, the Social Security Administration says it will still issue paper checks if no other options are available. I wanted to put this out there because there are people who are not aware that this is coming and this is happening. A lot of people may not know that this transition is coming and that they are no longer going to be issuing paper checks from the federal government. So if you have parents that may fall into that, children that may fall into that, or you yourself fall into that category, make sure that you are aware and that your loved ones are aware that this is happening. Well, if this don't look spiky to you, I don't know what does. Now, what you see here is this was in Houston. This is a Houston yard display that someone put up. Now, the display features two people in red MAGA-like hats hanging from gallows, manila folders bearing the word Epstein poke out of their pockets. Next to them is another mannequin wearing a poncho and a straw hat, along with two caskets and a Mexican flag. Mark Rodriguez, the homeowner, told news outlets that he feels the Hispanic community lives in fear in his neighborhood because of ICE. He said, quote, "This is my political statement. Our community lives in fear right now," end of quote. Mr. Rodriguez's neighborhood is 88% Hispanic. He said, quote, "By no means am I threatening nobody's life. This is part of my First Amendment to express how I feel, as long as I am not hurting nobody or threatening nobody," end of quote. Now, people are saying that the mannequins are supposed to be ICE agents. Mr. Rodriguez says, "No, quote, those are not ICE agents. Those are just people that have red hats and wearing masks," end of quote. The man said, "Y'all out here talking about Charlie Kirk got free speech. He has free speech as well. What are we talking about?" Hey, Catherine Powell. Listen, I don't know what y'all want from me. That's what Mr. Rodriguez said. Any of my Houstonians here? Any of my people from Houston here and done seen this? Anybody? None of my Houstonians here that done rolled by Mr. Rodriguez's house? I'm just asking. His name is Mark Rodriguez if you need him. Y'all let me know. Mr. Rodriguez, yeah, a whole mess. Just a damn mess. In more news, well, YouTube has gone full scale Bohica. Hashtag Bohica. Bend over. Here it comes again. YouTube has agreed to pay $24.5 million to settle a lawsuit with President Donald John, according to numerous reports. The president filed the lawsuit over the suspension of his account following the January 6, 2021 insurrection at the U.S. Capitol. Now, Donald John's account and videos were removed, citing a violation of policies against content that could incite violence. His account was reinstated in March of 2023. However, he still sued them, and now YouTube will pay $22 million to the nonprofit Trust for the National Mall, which is, quote, dedicated to restoring, preserving, and elevating the National Mall to support the construction of the White House State Ballroom, end of quote, according to court documents obtained by news outlets. So that $22 million is what your president is going to use to build that new wing on the White House that YouTube is now funding. Another $2.5 million will go to other nonprofits like the American Conservative Union. Here we are. Here the fuck we are. In more sugar spiky news, because it just gets spikier and spikier. Where do the spikes end? Where do the goddamn spikes end? Well, a Texas man has been arrested after being accused of threatening violence at a pride parade as retribution for right-wing activist Charlie Kirk's assassination. I'm just going to read that one more time for you, just so you understood what I just read. A Texas man has been arrested after being accused of threatening violence against a pride parade as retribution for right-wing activist Charlie Kirk's assassination. Joshua Cole of Anson has admitted to writing a Facebook comment threatening the Abilene Pride Parade and Festival. Local and national media outlets have been reporting. Using the name J. Dubois, I'm sorry, JW, I said Dubois, JW, he posted on September 18, quote, "Fuck their parade. I say we lock and load and pay them back for taking out Charlie Kirk," end of quote. And that's according to the police report. He also wrote, quote, "There's only like 30 of them. We can send a clear message to the rest of them. Come on, bro. Let's go hunting fairies," end of quote. Abilene police notified the FBI's field office in Dallas. FBI Special Agent Samuel Venuti tried to contact Mr. Cole at his workplace, but found Cole had recently, quote, "stormed out of the facility in anger and just quit," end of quote. And that's according to the affidavit. These people are unhinged. Mr. Cole admitted to making the comment and said a reasonable person could interpret them as a threat. Cole said he thought the Pride event should not be allowed, but he, quote, denied that he was going to take action or shoot Pride participants, end of quote. Here we are. Now, the Pride event did go on as scheduled on on September 20th. In more sugar spiky news. So this has been the talk of the Rainbow Coalition compound. And now Democratic legislators are getting involved. U.S. Representative Gerald Nadler, or Jerry Nadler, as we like to call him, of New York, and other politicians are objecting to what they call discriminatory arrests of men allegedly cruising for gay sex at New York City's Penn Station. This is happening. Well, oh, I'm sorry, y'all. Let's continue. I lost my place, y'all. Sorry, hold on, y'all. I lost my place. Okay. Nadler and 3 New York state legislators, Senators Brad Holman Segal and Liz Kruger, and Assembly member Tony Simone sent a letter Friday to National Railroad Passenger Corporation, Amtrak, President Roger Harris about the matter. They said media reports show Amtrak police have been targeting a men's restroom at Penn Station, focusing on members of the LGBTQ plus community. Quote, according to the reporting, Amtrak police made 23 arrests for public lewdness at Penn Station in June 2025 and is now making up to 20 such arrests per day. The reporting also indicates that many of these charges have been ultimately dropped, but only after LGBTQ New Yorkers have been handcuffed and arrested. In at least one case, an arrestee was transferred to the custody of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE. Finally, the reporting indicates that undercover Amtrak police are using constitutionally dubious tactics to target individuals they perceive as targets for arrest, including by using apps popular with gay men and by approaching and propositioning users in the bathroom. End of quote. What they're doing is they're going on sniffies and they're using sniffies to lure men into the bathroom. They go in the bathroom, they whip it out, they whip it around at somebody, baiting somebody to touch it, baiting somebody to touch them, and then everybody just rush in on these people and arrest them. That's what's happening. My question is this: how long is it before they call in reinforcements? Like, do you stay there and do you get one off first to make sure that the deed is done first before you call in reinforcements? We know that the Republican Party is as gay as the day is long. We know anytime Republicans meet up in any city, they shut Grindr the fuck down. I'm just asking, like, do you get sucked off or do you suck someone off and then after a good nut happens, is that when you call in reinforcement? Inquiring minds want to know. Like, how far does this go? Does it stop at the point where you touch the penis? Does it stop at the point where you do the head nod and you do the head nod and you whip it out and you whip it out and we flail it around? Like, what are the rules of engagement when y'all are down to the bathroom soliciting sex from people? You know, they used to have stings here in Atlanta where they would go on sniffies and see where there was a collection of people at certain parks. They had stings at parks here in Atlanta where they would use the sniffies app to go find people in the parks and stuff. Because you know the girls love to have to fuck in the park and love to produce content down to the park and shit. I'm just saying. That's a great question, Green Girl. Why don't y'all do this kind of thing down to the bathroom at the U.S. Capitol building, at the Republican National Committee headquarters down to the Washington, D.C.? Why don't y'all roll up on that Airbnb that they use on? I ain't gonna say where it's at. I'm not gonna tell y'all where that location is. But why don't y'all do a thing at that location where y'all have the bi-weekly and sometimes weekly Republican sex parties? Child. Hey Volvo. Hey Cookie. Volvo, you see they try to get the girls. Child, they is trying to get the girls. I'm just not down for having sex in the park. It's too many mosquitoes out there, and they love my sweet, supple skin over here. I have sweet, supple blood over here, and mosquitoes and shit, gnats and shit love to try to, bite me and shit. I ain't getting bit on my ass. I'm just saying, hey, butterfly, what's going on? I'm just trying to figure out where we draw the line. Anyway, and more sugar spiky news. Because the spikes just don't stop. And you don't stop. A Republican former member of the South Carolina House of Representatives pleaded guilty on yesterday to 5 federal counts of distributing child sexual abuse material. Robert John May III, known as RJ, faces 5 to 20 years in prison on each charge and a fine of up to $250,000, according to his plea agreement. He will also have to register as a sex offender. He agreed to change his plea to guilty on Friday after a hearing in which prosecutors linked him to the uploading and downloading of the files, as well as messages on the app Kick asking for, quote, bad moms, bad dads, bad preteens. End of quote. The prosecution also presented videos obtained by his from his laptop that showed him having sex with 3 girls whom they stated they have not been able to locate but believed to be underage and paid by him for the acts. The investigation into former state representative May began in spring of last year when the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children received a tip from Kick that flagged several videos from the username, quote, Joe Biden with 4 N's 69. This is what the Republican people do. They make all of these usernames using Democratic politicians. He's a staunch Republican, though. And his username is Joe Biden with 4 N's 69. That's his username. But Kick flagged those videos from that username and said the videos contain child sexual abuse. Investigators traced the account to May's home IP address and mobile device, discovering 220 different files, involving toddlers and young children. The U.S. District Attorney for the District of South Carolina announced during the trial. He was indicted on 10 counts of distributing child sexual abuse material in June and has been in jail since then after a judge denied him bail. He finally resigned from his seat in the House of Representatives in August. He was in jail and still refused to resign his seat. Although he did not acknowledge the charges against him, only writing that, quote, it is in the best interest of my family and constituents to resign immediately, end of quote. Now, this is an update. We reported on this story when it originally happened last year. We did report on it. I wanted to bring you the update on this story. And for those people who were not here at that time, give you the background so that you could know. But he has been pleaded guilty and is going to do a lot of time. Beautiful. Great. Lock his ass up. In more sugar spiky news, that right there is white gay porn skank Austin Wolf. Very famous gay male porn skank. Well, Austin Wolf, whose real name is Justin Heath Smith, we reported some months ago about how he had been arrested on child sex abuse charges. Well, he's been sentenced. He will spend 19 years in prison. U.S. District Judge Paul A. Engelmayer sentenced him yesterday after he pleaded guilty this past summer to enticing a minor for sex. The hearing capped a turbulent case that began with his arrest last year. U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, Jay Clayton, said in a statement, quote, Justin Heath Smith's crimes against children are horrible. He targeted kids as young as 7, and every New Yorker wants him and those like him off our streets for as long as possible and never again near our children. End of quote. In a 15-page memorandum dated September 22nd, prosecutors requested that the court impose the sentence near the top of the federal guideline range, 188 to 235 months, or about 15.5 to 19.5 years. They characterized Smith as a serial predator whose crimes extended beyond the 15-year-old victim at the center of the guilty plea. According to the government, Smith conspired with other men to exploit minors, solicited sexually explicit content from teenagers, and attempted to meet children as young as 9 and 12 for sex. In one especially chilling exchange, prosecutors said Smith asked a teenager to send him pictures of his 10-year-old sister. Smith's defense attorneys took issue with that characterization in a filing. The document included a February 2024 exchange with a 15-year-old boy in which Smith engaged in what prosecutors described as race play. Court documents say Smith, who is white, referred to the teenager who is black as a quote, good little nigger, hard ER, end of quote, while the boy called Smith, quote, massa, MASSA, end of quote. Prosecutors said the teenager produced at least one sexually explicit video for Smith at Mr. Smith's request. Prosecutors wrote, quote, the defendant's repeated sexual exploitation of children requires a sentence at the top end of the guidelines range, end of quote. And that's what they gave him. Yeah. He got 19 years. Mm-hmm. But it's a lot of these gay white porn skanks that like this type of fuck shit and is into this race play. I'm moving on before I spike out. In our last Sugar Spiky story, now I gave you all this story, I believe, it on Sunday during Silly Saturday. On Sunday, yeah, it was on Sunday during Silly Saturday, where I told you all about this young man. His name is Benjamin Glaze. He was a contestant on American Idol, who you see there sliding his tongue down Katy Perry's throat. And remember, he had those child porn allegations. Well, here's your update. He was sentenced to a 25 years. Okay, that's 15 years in behind bars and 10 years of a suspended sentence. Now, they are giving us the details of the 10 years suspended sentence. Hold your horses, kiddos. It gets rough. Now, his 10-year suspended sentence comes with him having to have a quote penile plethysmograph test. And that's a device that tracks arousal while he's shown everything from PG rated content to flat out X rated porn. On top of enrolling in a sex offender program, he's also going to have to take the ABLE screen, which is a test that times how long his eyes linger on slides of children versus adults. He's also forbidden from looking at or watching porn. He can't visit any strip clubs, sex shops, massage parlors, or adult theaters. He's also banned from calling sex hotlines. He also is banned from picking up hitchhikers. He also has to keep a proper appearance, meaning appropriate clothing and undergarments at all times. And he even has to submit to blood tests to see if he has venereal diseases. This all are the stipulations that the judge put on him for the 10-year suspended sentence that comes after 15 years in jail. Baby, don't ask me no questions. I don't have no answers. We just talked about Austin Wolf. Magical Mermaid. Listen, I don't know what to tell you. Listen, I don't know, sir. You take that up with the judge. The man said, the judge said, you can't even get your dick hard. Don't be looking over here at me. I ain't got nothing to do with it, sir. Sir, you the one over there with over 700 images of child porn. Don't look at me. You were the one found with more than 700 images and videos of sexual abuse material involving minors. What do you want from me? Leave me out of it. I ain't got nothing to do with it. Moving on. As we do the cannonball out of the sugar spike segment and deeper into the dossier, my man's is in the news. And don't y'all look too hard. Let me look in the chat. I don't want to see not one comment from none of you Rainbow Coalition compound members, because I don't need y'all looking at my man this hard. I'm just saying. Matter of fact, do I need to just go? Let me go back here. I can't have y'all looking at my man that hard. He is not for you people's consumption. But I'm over here consoling him because he just had an interview where he had to air out his guts. I'm just saying. Tyler James Williams in an interview stated that he has been living with Crohn's disease. And if you're not sure what Crohn's disease is, it's a chronic inflammatory bowel disease that causes painful, unpredictable flare-ups. And he was diagnosed at the age of 23. And he's lived with it. He says he's I think 34 now, 34, 35 now. And he's lived with it for over a decade. He has undergone a variety of treatments, including 3 surgeries. He also had to learn how to manage the disease while working in one of the most demanding industries. And he spoke out about it. And I watched the interview. It was compelling. And it made your heart go out to him. And you just never know, people look like their life is, the greatest thing in the world, and you never know what people may be dealing with and suffering in silence through. He was interviewed by the Griot, and he said, quote, "I was being wheeled into the ER of a New York City hospital, right? Everybody saw my face coming in. Everybody saw the pain I was in. So in some ways, I could only stay anonymous about it, but for so long," end of quote. And he went on and on to talk about getting in front of it, and just talking about how he's been dealing with having Crohn's disease. We certainly praying that he continues to have great health. Y'all ain't got to worry. I will be over here nursing his wounds. Anytime he doesn't feel well, I will rub his back and his crotch and make sure that my man is good. Okay? I'm just saying. It is really debilitated. And we be having to suffer through. I really be having to help him through it, Chimera. But we get through it and we don't even complain about it. Me and my man's is good over here. We just need y'all prayers. I will see him through it. Y'all ain't got to worry. I will see him through. But Boo Thang, I love you, Boo Thang. I'll see you later. Let me finish this live and I'll come over there and I'll rub you down a little bit. In some good news, Shonda Rhimes, she pledged $15 million to Dartmouth College to fund a new undergraduate residence hall that's set to open in the fall of 2028. And it will be named Shonda Rhimes Hall, marking the first time in Dartmouth's history that a building will carry the name of a woman or a Black person. So she's not only the first woman, she's also the first Black woman that has their name on the building of that on any building at that university. Shout out to her. Um, she went to Dartmouth. She's an alumna, I should say, of Dartmouth, and she donated to her alma mater. I ain't mad at it, and they naming a whole building after her. I'm proud of you, Shonda. Get it, girl. In more, the prosecution down to the Diddy case, they're asking for 11 years. I don't think they're gonna get it, but the prosecution is asking Judge Subramaniam um to put him behind bars for at least 11 years. I don't see him doing no more than 3 or 4. I'm going to say anywhere from 2 to 5. I think that's what he's going to get. Somewhere from 2 to 5. If I know the sentencing is this coming Friday. Now the defense says that he should just get 14 months. Now we talked last week about how everybody and their mama was writing letters. Stevie and Dallas Austin and Young Miami and all of them. They was all writing letters and stuff. Defense is asking for 14 months. Prosecution is asking for 11 years. I figure anywhere from 2 to 5. Somewhere around there. But who knows? We'll see. Chef Don Don say 2 to 5. He'll probably get credit for 1 year time served, said tacos and tequila. I'm saying, I'm thinking anywhere from 2 to 5 years is what they're probably going to give him. That'll be the new get a college wing named after you. I know that's right. Name a college wing after me. Oh God. So in more pop culture news, Vomit is having a all-out war with diarrhea. Cardi B and Nicki Minaj are in the internet streets windmilling. I'm gonna be honest with you. All of this back and forth, baby, say it with your chest. Drop locations and meet in the streets and get it down. Y'all be out here faking and flogging like y'all about this life and this, that, and the third. Drop locations, go in somebody's backyards and wear each other out. I'm just saying. Y'all talk about people's bussies and stuff. Cardi B, her side piece, her illegitimate relationship with Stefan Diggs. Talk about you playing in his bussy and Cardi B putting Nicki Minaj's brother in a pink wig, in a pink wig, in a pink wig, in a pink wig on Al Gore's internet talking about your brother is a whole ass sex offender. It's a whole mess. I ain't on nobody's side. I'm really not. I ain't on neither one of their side. These are two of the most deplorable and detestable people in the industry. At least in terms of female at least in terms of female rappers. I mean, you have to go to the level of Azalea Banks to get any worse. I mean, girl, I'm not going through the gory details of going through all of the tweets that they've been sending back and forth. Nicki Minaj putting stuff out there and then deleting it. And y'all got Barney involved. Y'all got Roger from American Dad in these tweets. Y'all got Jay-Z in there. Y'all got too much the fuck going on. I'm just saying. Like y'all ain't got nothing else to do. The girls are living, the Barty gang and the Barbs are going back and forward. It's just a fucking mess. All of this A, B, C, D, E, F, G bullshit. I don't have this type of energy. People talk about heavy tongues and raw dogging and your man having to snatch pussy and stuff. I just don't have this type of time. People talking about dick tasting like honeycomb cereal and shit. This is cereal, people. People touching 12-year-olds and stuff. I just Jesus God. I don't have this type of energy. Cocaine, Barbie allegations, and all kinds of. I just don't have this type of energy, y'all. And look at Paul. Paul ain't got in the chat since he said he was here. And his two queens get on the screen, and now Paul all in the chat. You would like these lifelong card-carrying members of the basket of deplorables, Paul. You would like these two members of the basket of deplorables. I don't know why Barney got into this. I don't know how Barney got in this. I don't know how Roger from American Dad got in this either. I'm just saying. I don't like neither one of these people. That's what I'm saying, crazy homebody girl. What happened to the day when damn tweeting, baby, when I tweet, it's gonna be this diss track that I'm putting out. Say it with your chest. Do it through your art. This is what rap is about. Don't be tweeting. I need you to be recording. Because real girls do real things. Don't I always say that? Real girls do real things. You piss me off, bitch, I put out a diss track a day because my skills are just that legendary. I will have a new diss track every fucking day of the week. Fucking around with me. I doubt either one of them could throw down. I'm just saying. Why? How we get in it? We got in it because Bella Carice, whatever her name is, she put Onika's brother in a pink wig on his mug shot on Al Gore's Good Internet. That's how we got in it. Look at Paul. Paul in the streets windmilling. Paul, can you declare what side you on? Are you Barty gang? Are you a Barb? Like what stand nation are you in, Paul? Let it be known. Money came by. I mean, they just around here dragging each other. Just dragging each other. We know you love the mess, Paul. I mean, I did find some of the tweets humorous. I ain't gonna even much hold you. I ain't gonna lie. She do need to stop with the coke rants because I'm surprised she still have a septum in there as much coke as she has. I mean, but Cardi snort as much coke as Nicki do. Both of their asses are coke heads. I'm just saying. La Queen has staked her claim. She says she's Barty gang, and y'all gonna have to fight her. Y'all know I can't stand neither one of these women. Right. Give us the female version. I'm just saying of Kendrick versus Wheelchair Jimmy. Can we get the female version of Kendrick versus Wheelchair Jimmy? That's what we want. Y'all out here trading tweets and shit. Like the girls out in the club and shit. And you know, the black wing of the G corridor of the Rainbow Coalition compound are losing their fucking minds. They are going fucking crazy, especially the section for the young millennials and Gen Zers. Oh, they really losing their fucking minds. Oh, they are here. Katana blades out, guns are blazing. Child. Right, Tracy W. Tell him we always in it. Oh, child. They do. They do. Child. Look at Barty Gay. Cardi don't do no drugs. She does it now while she's with child. But as soon as, that child stops breastfeeding, she'll be back to snorting up something. I ain't know neither one of these people. I don't like either one of them. I told you, this is a battle between vomit and diarrhea. Both projectile style vomit and projectile style diarrhea. Both. That's who's having an argument in my estimation. Well, then there's that, Terrence. Then there's that. Unless you pay your ghostwriters overtime, like Wheelchair Jimmy does. Anyway, moving on. I'm sure my good sis really be will report on this. I'm sure my good sis will give y'all all the updates on this. I know she will. Matter of fact, let me set up the redirect before I really be whoop my behind. Oh, Chef Don. Why is your video paused? Chef Don, I'm not gonna even do this to you. Chef Don. Chef Don. If I show you, because I was watching your video was playing on my computer before I came up, right? If I show you Chef Don, and I pause your video while I was going live, right? Chef, I wouldn't even do that to you. I would never show where they have you paused on my video because they got you paused with your where I paused the video. They got your mouth all open, like you just ready and waiting for somebody to put something in there. I wouldn't do that to you, Chef Don, because I love you too much. We wouldn't even have you go down like that, Chef Don. We wouldn't even do you like that. What time is this lady going live? Oh, it says 6:50. She might be waiting on me. I'm sorry, really B. We coming. Okay, to redirect this set. Yeah, I wouldn't even do that to you, Chef Don. But girl, it is kind of funny, Chef. I mean, Chef Don mouth is just open. Ciao. Anyway, we gonna move forward because we ain't got this type of time. In our last sugar spiky story, why y'all can't just let these people rest in peace? Is that too hard? So Lionel Richie is out here. And Lionel Richie and Michael Jackson were great friends. Great friends. So he out here in his new memoir that he released talking about Michael Jackson had the nickname Smelly because of his poor hygiene. saying that Quincy Jones often called Michael smelly. Lionel Richie described how Michael would keep on the same clothes for days, sometimes until they were, quote, unwearable, end of quote, due to challenges such as his intense schedule and not being able to shop like most would because of his level of fame. He also notes that when Michael would send his clothes out for dry cleaning, they'd frequently be stolen. Quote, everybody kept something for a souvenir. He just got into the habit of wearing the same pants until they were unwearable. End of quote. Why don't y'all leave these people the fuck alone? Like, ain't nobody ask you that, Lionel. Ain't nobody ask you a fuck thing. You did cut up on Tamar's edges yesterday, y'all. You did. You did. Hey, Miss Baythang. Listen, Lionel, I don't care if that's what Michael did or did not do. The man is dead. I mean, you want us talking about all your Botox injections when you get when you get buried? We gonna talk about the fact they call you needle, they call you pin cushion, huh? Hello, is it me you're looking for, sir? I cannot. Right. He did not have to tell that man business. So what? Michael kept a vast accumulation of ball gravy. I didn't need to know that Michael swam in ball gravy every time we saw him. We didn't need to know all that. We didn't need to know all about his poor hygiene, so much so that Quincy Jones called him smelly as a nickname. Just a mess. Just a damn mess. Just a damn mess. Yeah, Lionel Richie ain't the cutest thing on earth. I'm just gonna put it out there. He ain't the cutest thing on earth. Now he look younger now than he did when he was with the Commodore. Baby, that's all them injections, honey. Child, but when them injections start fighting you from within, your ass going to sepsis or some shit. Not bubble lips as a kid. But right, Complex 613. Hey girl, you need to stop talking about this. Michael, leave Michael alone. Michael is gone. Leave that man alone. We getting out of here. That's the dossier for today. I gotta send y'all over to Really Be. We'll be back tomorrow. Did y'all enjoy yourselves today? If you didn't, I enjoyed you. There's the QR code for those people who want to donate to the platform. As I always say, I love y'all. I love on y'all. Thank you all for being vocal, present, and active. Thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for any and all contributions that you make to the channel. They are much obliged and much appreciated. I'm about to get out of here. We're gonna send y'all over to Really Be, so y'all can go over to her class. She's gonna continue. I'm sure she will give you a full, unbridled breakdown of all things Cardi B versus Nicki Minaj. Vomit versus diarrhea. Y'all know Really B is part of the Barty gang. She love her some Cardi B. So I can already tell y'all what she gonna say. Anyway, that's all I got for y'all. Stay right there. We're going over to Really Be. Until next time, thank y'all for coming. Y'all drive safely. I'm out. I love y'all. I'll see y'all tomorrow.